Working on this project here for a GC client of mine. It started out as a modified bitumen system that the insurance company was offering about $69,000 to repair due to the faulty parapet wall system that used to be here. And an engineer came out sent by the insurance company and basically determined that the faulty parapet wall system was causing the interior damage on the inside. And the insurance company basically said, well, it's not covered, but as a good faith gesture, we're going to go ahead and pay to replace the parapet wall only, and give you $69,000, fix up some of the interior damage. And but the problem with that, of course, is to fix that parapet wall that was there to take it off would essentially destroy the entire roof system that's there, the modified bitumen, and then wet insulation underneath that. So, you know, to code IECC standards, IRC, this is a residential property here, a number of different reasons required that the roofing system would have to be replaced. So, but there was an additional problem, and that was the roof was covered with hail. And after 2 engineer visits, nobody had determined that there was hail damage on this roof. They were only focusing on that parapet wall system. So essentially, we were able to document all of the hail damage for the adjuster. And the adjuster, I think she realized she was trapped, because in order to replace the parapet wall system, you'd have to go into the roof, and then there's the question of why she decided to cover the parapet wall to begin with, right? Since it's not covered. And our response at all times was, listen, we don't get into policy and coverage, we're not allowed to do that. We're just speaking as the contractor. So what we did was we documented all of the hail damage and showed it to her so that she could see that there was actually an alternative. The property owner spoke with her and the agent, and they all discussed the fact that there was actually, in addition to this faulty workmanship sort of claim that they were trying to place it into, was a hail damage claim. And the hail damage significantly covered the entire roof system. Because of that, it was required that the roof be replaced. And so she sent out an engineer for the 3rd time, but this time we were able to meet that engineer out here. We got the whole event on video, which you'll see, and the engineer basically conceded that yes, this entire roof is trashed because of hail damage and it needs to be replaced. It was amazing because it's such a high value client. The agent came out that day with the engineer and the adjuster. The agent had his suit on, and it didn't require any kind of special muscle. It didn't require an attorney on our part, didn't require a public adjuster, didn't require the appraisal process, it didn't require us to have our own engineer. It just required us to document the hail damage that's there. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to document hail damage and articulate the fact that the roof is damaged because of hail. We didn't try to act as adjusters or attorneys or any of that. We just simply dealt with the black and white facts. And the engineer conceded that the roof needed replaced. He went over, had a conversation with the adjuster and the agent.
Because a lot of times, you probably know this, policy they may have, it's a dormer.
Oh, cosmetic.
Yeah, cosmetic
right.
deal. But I see some indentations from the hail impact.
Yeah, I can't really get into that stuff because that's coverage and policy stuff. Yeah. But like I've seen them talk about that before. But I think what I've also seen them do is they say something along the lines of it's compromised the life value, the lifespan. But that's for the people
it's a metal part, and it's what it drives is the policy, the underwriting.
But I can't talk about the policy and coverage.
I
at least not in Texas.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pass the ball on to their
right, exactly, right.
I see this,
you just gather the
right.
documentation.
And this is consistent with the.
So, do you think, in your professional opinion, then the roof is totaled by hail?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would recommend the replacement of the roof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
you seem like a very smart man. I have to shake your hand one more time.
Well, appreciate it. That's what I do. Do what I
Repair
do.
versus replacement.
Like 10 grand for it.
Yeah. Oh, man. They both came up. The adjuster said, we're going to buy the roof. and we've hired a building consultant to complete an estimate of what it's going to take to replace the roof. He comes back, his estimate is just a little bit over $200,000. So of course that wouldn't begin to even get this roof covered. It had a synthetic composite slate mansard system in addition to the modified bitumen. A lot of code requirements were necessary. Drainage and flashing and things that weren't here previously that are now required by code. City of Dallas, Texas, 2015 International Residential Code, IRC. So we completed an estimate that was much higher than that, but end of the day, what we came out to was $472,000. The proof is definitely in the results.
That's what I'm the proudest about, man. If you look at that scupper box right there, Chad, they cut that freaking piece out of the trim and glued it back to the trim to fit in flawlessly.
Who did you bring in to help you on this? You brought in overheadandprofit.com.
That's it. You're anxious about it, right? Speculation builds up, the questions, the anxiety, the high stakes, the pressure from the clients. Like, when I signed this, I looked this particular client in the eye and I knew I'm gonna fix this. The end result is we're going to repair these damages, and it's not gonna be on your dime. It's gonna be on the insurance company because they've covered you, and this policy should cover these damages. A process, right? And you just wanna, in today's world, you just wanna get things done right away,
You just want to get through the whole process.
You wanna get to
right
it. You
now.
wanna get to the 210, right? You wanna get straight to the profit. And it was really just, after the engineers meeting, it was just like the biggest weight lifted off my shoulders. When the engineer started circling hail hits, that's when I knew the battle has been won. Now it's just figuring out a few little last details and letting Chad with Overhead and Profit just embarrass the building consultant and the adjusters and the engineers and letting him do his thing, and me getting ready with my subcontractors and getting all my material ready and getting everything coordinated so I could facilitate this job. And ever since that point right then and there, that was a turning direction. That was where past the hate and on to the love and to the passion. Because I love doing this shit. I love building the craziest shit that everybody says no to. And I love doing outside of the box, man, because that's where it's at. That's the specialty, man. I love specialty roofs. So, good experience.
Well, congratulations, man. And that's what you can expect when you hire me, Chad Michael, from overheadandprofit.com.